Okay, we are live.
Okay, great. Good afternoon, everyone. Michael Dever here with the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission. I'm going to call the meeting to order. This is Thursday, October 8th, 2020 at 2 p.m. Patrick Hewitt, our interim executive director, if you could go through the important notice first.
Absolutely. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Cuyahoga County Administration Building is closed for public meetings at this time. As a result, this meeting is being conducted remotely in accordance with the State of Ohio House Bill 197. Interested persons may access the meeting via live stream by using a link found at www.countyplanning.us.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So I'll call the meeting to order, and can we have a roll call? Annette, are you with us?
Annette is not with us, but I will be serving in her stead. Mayor Bobst?
Here.
Mayor Brennan?
Here.
Councilperson Brown?
I'm serving in Councilwoman Brown's as her alternate. This is Khalil Sarin.
Oh, okay. Mayor Byrne?
Here.
Mr. Collier?
Yes, I do think that they
Here.
Mr. Dever?
Here.
Mayor DeSico?
I'm here.
Mayor Gamala?
Here.
Mayor Prosuk?
Here.
Mayor Sellers?
Here.
Councilperson Simon?
I'm here.
Everyone's
Okay,
here?
thank you, everybody. Thanks for attending today's meeting. We have a very short agenda, so hopefully we can get through this in record time again. First item or second item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes for September 10th, 2020. Can I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Second, Simon.
Second by Simon. Is there any questions or changes or comments on the minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those against, that motion carries. Thank you.
Excuse me, who was the first on that? I'm sorry.
Mayor Gamala.
Thank you, Mayor.
And Councilwoman Simon seconded.
I got that.
Okay, great. Next item is old business. We do not have anything under old business today. Next item lined up is new business, resolution 201008-A. Patrick, do you want to lead us off here?
I believe Allison's going to read the resolution.
Okay.
Resolution number 201008-A is approving a planning services agreement with the City of Rocky River to prepare an update to the Development Code Phase 3.
Okay, Patrick.
Absolutely. So this is the only item on our agenda today. Just as a little bit of background, County Planning completed the Rocky River Master Plan on behalf of the City of Rocky River back in July of 2018. As a result of that plan, as well as other identified issues by the city, Rocky River sought an update of its development code and associated zoning map. The city hired County Planning to complete phases 1 and 2 of the development code update. This was approved by the board in resolution number 190808B. Phases 1 and 2 included a code diagnosis, a framework of changes, and zoning map updates. You can see this image is one of the initial outputs framing out what the future development code for the city will look like. Following up on that, Rocky River applied for a community planning grant in June 2020 and was awarded a partial grant to cover $20,000 toward phase 3 of the development code update. The total cost of that is $37,000. This planning services agreement will cover the remainder of the project costs and deliver $17,000 in revenue for county planning from the City of Rocky River. A phase 3 update to the development code will complete this project. The final deliverables included an updated development code, an updated zoning map, and an online zoning map for use by the community and city. The next steps in this process would be for the Planning Commission to review and consider for approval, and upon approval, the interim executive director will execute the agreement. So our recommendation is for approval of the planning services agreement with Rocky River.
Great, thank you, Patrick. Any comments or questions from members of the board?
Yeah, Patrick, could you go back one slide, please? I just kind of missed that last portion. Forgive me.
For the next steps,
Under where it says update to the development code, phase 3.
sure. So as a whole, this project involves 3 phases. Phases 1 and 2 were covered under the first contract. This contract would cover phase 3. The ultimate deliverables for this would be an updated development code for the city of Rocky River, an updated zoning map to go along with that, and an online zoning map for use by the city and residents that would allow folks to go online and look at their parcel and the zoning for their parcel.
Okay. All right. And this is a service that was never provided by the city of Rocky River for their constituents. So this would actually be a value add with respect to it being sort of an online viewer. Is that correct?
That is correct. The city did have a previous zoning map that functioned solely as a PDF. So we are recreating a PDF and bringing it up to date in addition to creating an online zoning map. And that would be a new function, yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay. Is there any other questions or from any members of the board?
I have a question if no one else does. This is Khalil.
Go ahead, Khalil.
Actually, a couple different questions. If you could go back to the example of the development code. I'm wondering how many jurisdictions have taken advantage of this particular type of document for their residents?
Certainly. The work that county planning has done in the past has not always been complete development code rewrites. In the past 5 to 10 years, we have done other development code updates. They have been either overlays, updates to certain parts of codes, as well as updates to maps. The image that you're seeing here, the development code that we're working on for the city of Rocky River, is really a new type of development code, and we're going to continue working with the city to expand upon this. This is what we're hoping, is that we're going to create a document and a product that will be able to work with other communities to provide for their community and to address their needs as well in the future.
So Patrick, if I may, this is Fred Collier again. We're in Cleveland working on form-based zoning. And to your point, the Euclidean zoning, of the past has created uncertainty. It has created a great deal of variance issues with development projects. Much of it doesn't promote the type of walkable communities that we seek to create, particularly in urban centers. So we're looking at form-based zoning as a solution, which we're piloting now. And there's certain sections of the city that's going to receive this form-based zoning as the new zoning for those areas while we test out the efficacy of it. It seems to me that this is a similar approach, not necessarily form-based zoning that you're doing, but a similar approach to kind of right the wrongs of some of the pre-existing, codes and the code language that is somewhat archaic with respect to how modern development is happening. So your approach, I'm assuming, is one where, although you're looking at this particular jurisdiction, that you may apply this to other jurisdictions throughout the county. Am I understanding you correctly?
Thank you, Director. Yes, that is correct. What we are hoping in the future is that we will have a product that we'll be able to share and continue to kind of spread to other communities who might wish to update their zoning code throughout the county. What this is, what we're working on, is a bit of a hybrid. We are working from the existing development code for the city of Rocky River, which was updated probably within the last decade. But we are trying to bring it up even into more modern standards. It's not quite form-based code. It is a mix of both more traditional zoning code with additional graphics and design standards that approach some of the elements of form-based code that are most helpful. We are trying to build, like I said, from the existing development code. So we're trying to marry not a complete rewrite, but an improvement that addresses those elements. As part of the master plan, we did identify parts of the code that weren't providing the type of development that the city would like to see. Walkable development in the downtown, walkable redevelopment in certain commercial areas. Those are both important parts of what we heard from the public and from the city in the planning process. And that's some of the areas that we're attempting to address right now.
Leo, did you have a follow-up?
Yeah, actually I had a question about a different topic. So the contract, if I remember correctly, says that the city will pay $17,000 for these professional services. And there's also some, standard termination language in there. I'm wondering, this is a not to exceed 37,000 cost. And if, let's say hypothetically, we don't get up to that 37,000 number, I'm assuming, but I just wanted to confirm that if we're doing a reimbursement sort of invoicing basis, then the money that the planning commission is paid, the county planning is paid, will first come out of that 17,000. And then once we get past that 17,000, we'll start going into the 20,000. Is that correct?
The way we actually discussed it is that it would be done in concert. So as we complete, say, 50% of the cost, half of that funding would come from the county's contribution and grants, and half of that would come from the cities.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, is there anything further? Director Collier, did you have anything further?
No. You go. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
If I could just add, I thank all the members of the commission for their consideration in approving this agreement. It really was something that we knew at the outset when we updated the master plan that we would want to then go to our development code and zoning code to make sure that we could realize all the vision in the master plan. And so these were steps that we had planned on even at the time that we embarked on the master plan update. So it advances all of that. And then it also at the same time provides the necessary kind of clarity and streamlining of the process, both for users as well as the city. And I thank Patrick and his team with the Planning Commission to assist us. They have been very, very helpful in working with our land use commissions, the administration, as well as, and most importantly, our residents. So thank you. I will abstain on the vote, but I want to thank all of you for your consideration.
Thank you, Mayor.
And its current thinking as to when, if, and how we plan to deal with version 11.
I'm not,
That has not occurred.
is somebody asking a question? If not, I'll make a motion to approve resolution 201008-A. Is there a second?
Second, Mayor Brennan.
Second from Mayor Brennan. Any other further comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed? That resolution passes. Thank you. Okay, next, Patrick, could you give us the interim executive director's report? Thanks.
Absolutely. I do not have any new major documents to release this time, so this will be relatively quick as well. Just a few brief updates on the topics that you see in front of you. Starting off first, the subdivision regulations, as I mentioned last time, those were going in front of County Council on Tuesday, September 15th. Those were approved by County Council and are now finalized. So thanks to all who contributed to these updates, both from our staff, but also from Public Works, the Department of Law, Soil and Water Conservation District, and the townships and others to get those done. Parma garage zoning, I discussed last time that we were hired to do a relatively small zoning research request for appropriate garage standards. That project has been substantially completed for a not to exceed amount of $1,000 in revenue for county planning. Justice Affairs we have a contract with Justice Affairs. They have hired us to provide mapping and technical services to the department. They have requested a contract extension for an additional 6 months for us to continue providing them services into the middle of 2021. This is not to exceed $5,000. DOPWIC, the administrative cost agreement, there was a question at the last meeting and I wanted to follow up about the $65,000 in revenue for county planning. We did discuss where that dollar amount comes from and confirmed that $65,000 for DOPWIC, our administrative costs, is set by state law. Any additional funds for county planning, were that to change, to administer the program, would come directly from funds otherwise intended for project awards. In looking at our funding over the past few years, we're relatively comfortable with the $65,000 that we have been paid to administer that contract in the past few cycles. The Lakefront Public Access Plan, county planning in partnership with the Department of Public Works is kicking off that Lakefront Public Access Plan, which was discussed at a recent meeting. Those initial meetings are being scheduled and the first public meeting will likely be in late November or early December. There are a number of folks on this call who are directly involved with that because they are a lakefront community. We're looking forward to that first steering committee meeting and that first public meeting to kick this process off. And finally, on this slide,
that is a NOACA-led initiative, correct?
No, that's actually two separate initiatives. So NOACA has a 3-county lakefront lakefront transportation plan. This is strictly a Cuyahoga County lakefront public access plan. What this is looking at is transportation and public access directly on the lakefront. Much of that is modeled after what was done in the city of Euclid, where they exchanged erosion control for transportation and public access along the lakefront. We are working in partnership with NOACA. We've invited NOACA to be a member of the steering committee. They are doing a larger study along the 3 counties that will look at transportation, not just at the lakeshore, but along the lakefront as well.
Okay. So there's 2 things that you should be very much aware of with respect to the waterfront and the planning for it. Obviously, you're aware of the NOACA plan that's looking at multiple counties within the NOACA region. Also, there's the Cheers initiative that we're knee deep in with the metro parks, looking at obviously access and also habitat and infrastructure related items. So with all of that going on, that coordination, value add, and overlap, needs to be reconciled with respect to these various initiatives that are kind of contemplating very similar, approaches to things. And Michael is very much aware of, our posture to always want to make sure that as we endeavor to do these things, that we are adding value and not replicating activities. That's very important to the taxpayer as well. So, I just want to make sure that there's coordination, not just collaboration, with respect to how things are executed and sort of who's doing what.
Thank you, Director. And that is absolutely true. Completely agree. We are just kicking this plan off. And one of the first components that we undertook was coordinating directly first with NOACA to make sure that as we were setting up those 2 scopes, that they would be complementary. We've also started the process of getting a steering committee included and meeting. That would include, of course, the city of Cleveland and the other lakefront communities. As part of that very first steering committee, what we're going to be doing is identifying all the folks that make sense to contact and to speak with for that coordination. We have a long list, but we want to make sure that we hear from you about the folks that we need to speak to, be that in the city of Cleveland, for instance, with the Cheers Project, the various city council people and the CDCs. So completely agree that coordination is going to be essential because we do not want to be redoing work, especially we don't want to have work that's in conflict. So absolutely agreed, and we'll continue being in contact regarding that.
Okay. All right. If you want to continue on, Patrick.
Sure thing. The last on this slide is welcome to Blake Woodruff. He's not on the call with us today. Blake was a co-op student with us in the spring of 2020. We recently brought Blake back on as a part-time co-op student for this semester. We had some excess funds in our personnel account, even after some of the budget cuts, that allowed us to bring Blake in to provide some assistance on some of our projects. Blake is incredibly skilled at graphics. He's also obviously been with us in the past, so he knows county planning. We're excited to have him on board and to assist at this time. The final item that I have, as I've been ending with recent meetings, is Census 2020. Self-response is still open and available. Field operations continue. But even this, just today, Kevin was giving me an update that the Supreme Court is likely now going to make a decision about when that will end. So field time may be reduced. The advertising and outreach is ongoing. There is still an opportunity for folks to fill out the census. I mentioned last time an ice cream challenge. Bentleyville won both of the ice cream challenges. So if you need Honey Hut ice cream, feel free to head down to Bentleyville. And any more information is available at countyplanning.us/2020 census. Finally, our next meeting is scheduled for December 10th. There is a tentative November meeting at this point. We don't have any contracts that will likely come up, so our next scheduled meeting is December 10th.
Okay. Thank you, Patrick. That was great. I appreciate that. At the same time, I just want to make mention to the board that there has been a committee of people doing interviews for the new for the executive director's position. Patrick has been filling in that role very well, and but we're going through the process right now over the last 6 weeks, and we hope to, by the next meeting, to bring before you a recommendation. So I appreciate everyone's hard work that's involved in that interview committee. Okay. Allison, is there any public comment by any chance? Nothing. I get a head shake from Patrick. So
No,
I'm sorry, I was on mute.
no public comment?
No public comment.
Okay. All right, I appreciate that. Does anyone have anything they'd like to bring up, or any comments or anything? Okay, if not, well, listen, everybody have a happy Halloween and Thanksgiving, and hopefully we'll see each other soon again.
Thank you.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Goodbye. Thank you.
We're not walking away
Thanks,
from
everyone.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
All the slides related to the project plan here.
Tony Hall.
Well, somebody's mic is on.
Somebody's out on the project.
So, Mike and Mayor Sellers, you were the first and second for the